I
did,
I mean,
yes.
Publicly, we just found that out, right?
Since COVID year, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, so we talked to her once we knew that was a rule, and she said, she wanted to, but of course you keep checking in and making sure that's what they want to do. And she's always been all in on Illinois, and she's done great with us, obviously, and just happy to have her for another year.
How does that help you as a coach? Maybe just going a little easier. You got one of your best pieces back.
Yeah, it obviously helps great, and her development's come a long way too. And she started off as a pre-rotation player. We harp a lot that we're able to develop players, and she's one of them that's really done a great job. And of course, the athlete is the one that has to actually step out there and do it. So she gets after it every day. She's very competitive. She's learned how to kill the ball from pretty much every position on the court, every spot on the court, and she's become a real leader out there. So just great to have her back for year 5.
Growth. What do you just make in a year's time? What's changed when you talk to her coach or game?
Yeah, I think this year, she's got a lot more leadership responsibility. Last year we had Diana, we had a bunch of seniors that were out there that were the voice, and now this year she's become the voice and the one that has to have those tough conversations with her teammates and has to lead from the floor. And it's tough to do it all too, because she's out there scoring a lot of points for us and blocking and passing and everything else, but she's really stepped up in terms of the conversations she's had both on and off the court, and it's really nice to see her flourish in that way too.
I mean, that can either just be something you just step right into, and some it's a process that's maybe not their thing. How does it?
Yeah, I think it's always a process, and whether you've done it at the high school level or the club level, and you step into college, it's a whole different realm. Every single gym you step into, every year that you have, it's different. And I just think she's done a really nice job just responding to any challenge that's come up from us as coaches or from the competition court. And she's done a nice job just every day. She wants to win, she wants to learn, and she's done great.
Dave Shundell, something like the Big Ten maybe needs conference to address the RPI thing and 4 in the top 45.
Yeah, I think some of that is, like I said, and we went back and forth a little bit. I've been serving on the AVCA board for the last 6 years, and it's just the conversation that's been coming up just in terms of now you're going to step into the superpower conferences with 18 teams in the Big Ten and whatever it is, 14 in the ACC and another 18 in the SEC. I think I have those numbers right, but where you could legitimately, in coming years, have teams that are sub 500 in the conference but are pretty dang good, and you need to decipher that with a different metric system than what's being used now. This year they have opened up and looking at different metric systems that are out there, Pablo rankings, Massey rankings. So there's a whole different way of looking at it. But yeah, as a conference, I think we have to do a better job overall, and some of it's planned and some of it can't be planned like us. And, I didn't plan to have people out at the beginning of the year as the way that it happened, but with that being said, I still think we did a good job. We've still put ourselves in a position to be in the top half of the Big Ten. If we win the next 2, we're outright number 5. I think it's impressive for where we've started and where we've come, but you got to do the job, as the selection committee sees fit. So we got to hopefully that is enough for them.
Outright at number 5. Normally that gets you in, Chris.
Yeah, normally
does that
and
say
that's the conversation. Yeah, that's the conversation about the conference, and if we're just trying to beat the computer system, that's not the way to do it. Fans want to see good volleyball, and you can't get punished for trying to schedule tough. And so I know basketball's made a big stink about it, and they're completely onto the NET, I believe. And so it just has to be something that's similar to that. And again, just going public with them on Twitter is conversations that we've had as a conference, as a sport over the last several years, and as we get more increased television coverage, and the Big Ten seeing higher and higher ratings for the television, and we're getting picked up by the major networks for our championship series. It's got to be a serious conversation about making sure that we have our best 64 teams in at the end of the year, not people that try to just beat the computer model and go from there. But if that's the way it's going to be, then we have to do the best job to do that ourselves.
Brianna's got a lot on the line next year. She has 2 all-time records she could hit. What are you expecting from her next year?
To break them. No, she's done great. Obviously with the extra year, it gives you the extra year to get some stats in there, and that's just across the board throughout the country. But you look at, I think the stats are nice and the records are nice. At the end of the day, I would put her as a person and as a teammate, as the biggest stat that's out there. And so that's really what we talk about in our program, and just making sure that we do our best to be the best as we can. And whether that turns into a record or not, that's great. But there's been some great Illini. We just had a group come through that was Aaron Virtue's era this last last weekend when Aaron was here coaching on the bench, and just talking with them, from their time 20 years ago, it's still the same. It's really great to see them and get reconnected with alumni, and knowing that it's what we're doing here is what kind of what they set up for us, and continue to do.
How much of that is an appeal, sort of, when you're looking at transfer portal and looking at recruits to come in? You get to play with Raina Terry. How much of that is a selling point for you? Looking at recruits?
I think we're all going to be in a similar boat where we've got good players returning. I know a couple other programs have announced the same thing. Actually, for the same reason, it's more along the lines of, hey, we're going to keep doing what we do here, and yes, you do have a shot of playing with the team that's fairly experienced and be returning. But like I mentioned, every team's different. We got to make sure we bring the right people, and making sure we bring in the right mixture of people that help us next year.